Welcome to the Business Dispatch. This is Mark Stevens. Glad you could join. I was thinking how interesting it is that sometimes people come along and become iconic in business. We can all learn from them because they don't do what their industry does well. They reinvent their industry, and they look at the standard view and perspective of what people in their industry are supposed to do and turn it on its head. And a great example of that is somebody I got to know years ago. His name was Marvin Traub, and he was the CEO of the world-famous Bloomingdale's at the height of its fame as a really more than simply a retailer. It was a social phenomenon. And I would talk to Traub as he was running the business in its heyday. And I'm telling you can't imagine what this was like. It was, if you weren't there were young people who basically lived there, going to Bloomies and meeting dates, meeting guys, meeting girls, looking for fashion, eating. It was a place to go. It was like the best bar in the world, except it was apparel and related items. And it was the biggest, coolest hang there was in New York City at the time. So it was phenomenally successful. And what was the trick to that? Traub looked at retailing and said, I don't want to be a retailer. I don't want to be a merchant. Everybody who had come before him viewed themselves as a merchant. And when you ran a retail store, you traditionally and conventionally saw yourself as a merchant, maybe a better merchant or a worse merchant or a smarter merchant or a more creative one. But he said, no. I'm going to be an entertainer. I'm going to run an entertainment business that happens to sell clothing and related items. And in that epiphany, in that insight, in that determination to reinvent an industry, he created the phenomenon that Bloomingdale's became. And it was a show. Because you went in there, you were inundated in all of your senses by an experience you had never felt before, and you wanted to buy everything you saw, and you wanted to go back and back and back. So the lesson that I'm bringing to you here in this dispatch is, take a look at your industry and don't follow what it's supposed to be. Think of what it could be. And in that transition, you'll wind up often with something extraordinarily successful. In my next dispatch, I'll talk to you about another person who did just this thing in a very different industry. Thanks.